If you know my journey, you'll know that I wanted to be a vegan, but my body wanted to be a carnivore. You know, I saw veganism as this healthy, godlike trend, the diet of good people, those who loved and cared about every living animal on the face of this earth. The diet that would express how politically correct I was. The diet that would make my skin shine and make me skinny and fine. I imagined it would be the best diet for my spiritual ascension. But my body said, after being 50% raw vegan diet, I ended up in the hospital with an allergic reaction. And as if that wasn't enough, after being released from the hospital, I immediately went back to eating vegetables. My indoctrination was just so overwhelming. It wasn't until my daughter fed me a dead carcass in the form of bacon and those cholesterol-filled eggs that I realized that as much as I wanted to be a vegan, my body wanted to be carnivore. And so I was doomed to a life of eating dead carcass. Let's get serious. Welcome back to Carnivore Found Me. And I finally decided to do my trailer. So, this channel is not just going to be about my carnivore journey, it's going to be about your carnivore journey, your carnivore interest, your health interest. This carnivore channel is going to be for us all. And yes, I'm going to talk about many other things. And I will be talking about my carnivore journey. I'll talk about how carnivore found me. I'll talk about all the things that I was healed from and even the things I weren't. I'll talk about how I ended up in a hospital after becoming a vegan. I'll talk about how I inadvertently began eating bacon and eggs and became a carnivore before I knew I was a carnivore. Also, I'm going to talk about how important it is to listen to different opinions because no one knows it all. We're open-minded over here. We're not a cult and we don't believe in one size fits all. I've looked down there in the comments at some of the comments that's been posted by subscriber and I've learned a lot. So we're also going to talk about choosing diets that are right for you. See, I chose the vegan diet, but my body chose the carnivore diet. When I was first diagnosed with pre-diabetes, I decided that I was going to become a vegan, 50% raw vegan, because I was indoctrinated to believe that vegetables is good for everyone, especially if you want to heal. So I started it. I ended up in the hospital, not because the vegan diet isn't a good diet, but it wasn't right for me. Because I was pre-diabetic, I didn't need to have sugar in my body. And we all know that fruit and vegetables are carbs and they all turn into sugar. So it wasn't right for me. It might be right for John or Mary or Sue or someone else with a different ailment, but it just wasn't right for me. We're also going to talk about my personal beliefs, which are kind of different. See, I believe that extreme diets like extreme carnivore or extreme veganism is for extreme purposes. So if you're sick, maybe these extreme diets are for you. Now, I started carnivore. I was an extreme full carnivore. And at the time I started it, I was pre-diabetic. I had fatty liver. I had high blood pressure. And it worked out great for me. And just like that worked out great for me, there are probably some vegans that maybe they had other issues. Maybe they had cardiovascular problems and they became a vegan and it worked out great for them. So I think that these extreme diets may be good for people that are sick and need to be healed. But there's some point where you might say, well, I've been an extreme carnivore, my blood sugar level is under control, but if I don't eat anything other than meat and have no sugar in my body, no vegetables in my body, it could get too low. Maybe your blood sugar might get too low. So I think people need to decide what is best for them. That's why I'm a dirty carnivore now, because carnivore healed me of all these things. However, I'm at the point where I would like my body to tolerate vegetables. So I'll eat, I'll put mustard on my sardines. I eat dairy. Well, not dairy. I do homemade yogurt with elrhodoride, and sometimes I'll even do some fermented vegetables like sauerkraut. So the last thing on my list that we're going to be discussing over here are some controversial issues. For example, as a carnivore, a lot of us have high cholesterol after we become a carnivore. Now, we know that back in the day, Ansel Keys wrote a report, did a research study saying that high cholesterol was the reason for heart disease. And we believed it at that time. And then later on, as time went on, there were new reports that refuted that. And now we have expert doctors that even say that our body needs cholesterol, that our brains make cholesterol. So it's important to actually research this information. There are even some people that say that there was the high cholesterol issue has a lot to do with pharmaceutical companies and them issuing statins to us. So there's a lot of information out there to actually be examined. Also, another controversial issue that I'd like to examine is the natural order of the food chain. I think this is very important because, like, the sun feeds the plants feed the animals feed us, and we replenish the plants. So that's like a natural food chain order. So I often wonder what happens if we decide to skip that order. Maybe we decide we don't want to deal with the animals. We want to go directly to the plants, or we want to go directly to the sun. There are people that tell us that they do not need food, that they can live off of the sun and breathing. Those are breatharians. So when we take the natural order of the food chain out, I'd sure like to examine how it affects us. That's a controversial issue that we can look into. Another one is we have a lot of young women that are vegans, and they've lost their monthly period. And they say that experts, their doctors tell them that that's okay. It's nothing wrong with that because it's just shows that their body has been cleansed. I think that's what they're saying. But that's an issue that we need to look at. You know, how does that affect them when they want to have children? Is this something that's really natural? So there's a lot of things that I'd like to look at on this channel. So I hope you guys will stick around and look at it with me, and we can examine these things and we could share information amongst us all. So thank you, but like, comment, and subscribe before you leave, and I look forward to seeing you here.